All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Welcome to December 2nd, 2019 board meeting. I'd like to begin with our land acknowledgement, reminder of the ancestral lands that we are so privileged to be part of. We honor the ancestral lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe Confederacy. And what I have with me is the Dish with One Spoon Treaty that we talk about every week. It's the wampum belt that reminds all of us, all generations, of our covenant with our local Indigenous people in terms of our commitment to respect the land, and how we have to honor and be responsible with the resources we are given in perpetuity. And we'll continue to do so and do the work with the local Indigenous people. So at this point, I'd ask that we stand for the singing of O Canada. So at this point, I am seeking approval of the agenda, looking for Trustee Maria Felix Miller and seconded by Trustee Carol Paikin Miller. All in favor? That is unanimous. Before I begin, I'm also looking for a motion to approve Heather Miller and Sean McKillop as our scrutineers. Trustee Tutt and seconded by Trustee Deeth. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. At this point, I just want to make sure I have the right flow here. Trustee Danko? Because once a year I always do this. I am now looking for nominations for the position of chair of the board. Yes, just a reminder, people can self-nominate or be nominated by others. I see Trustee Deeth, hand went up. Yes, Trustee Deeth.
I'd like to nominate Alex Johnstone.
Thank you. Are there any more nominations? Are there any more nominations? And a third time, are there any more nominations? Not seeing any other nominations, I have a motion to close the nominations. Trustee Danko, seconded by Trustee Miller, Paikin Miller. All in favor? Motion is closed. And now I'm looking for a motion to approve Trustee Alex Johnstone as the chair of the Hamilton Web District School Board. I see Trustee Archer. I don't need a seconder, I was told. All in favor? That is unanimous, and I pass the chair off to Trustee Alex Johnstone, who's the chair. Congratulations.
Thank you, trustees. I want to say a few words, and I'd like to start by thanking all of the trustees around this table for your continued confidence in me. It truly means a lot. It's been an honor this past year to work with each and every one of you. I fully believe that we have the best board in the province, of course, equal to our coterminous board. And with that, welcome Chair Pat Daly from our coterminous school board. This past year has been extraordinary, and I know that I summed that up last week, referring to a year of great success, but also many challenges. And I really saw this team pull together in so many ways, work together. Each of us brought different insights and views to the table, and that diversity made us stronger. And I sincerely appreciate that. I appreciate the respect that we show one another. And I appreciate the relationships that we have with our staff. Together, we work hard to serve the students of our school board. As we enter into our second year of our term, our board's top priority this year will be the Safe Schools Review Panel. And trustees share the concerns and strong desire of our communities to ensure that the best policies, practices, and the community networks are in place so that no student is left to experience bullying on their own. The panel will conduct a citywide consultation inviting all HWDSB students, parents, our staff, as well as our community partners. And I believe that this is a true reflection of that popular saying that it takes an entire community to raise a child. Well, in this case, it takes an entire city. And I see us pulling together through that process. In addition, the Board of Trustees will also look to focus on maintaining respectful labor relations as we are currently in the process of collective bargaining with our local labor groups. Provincially, we will continue to be a strong voice to preserve class sizes. We will look to complete a bell time study with our coterminous school board to effectively resolve the bus driver shortage that we are experiencing here in Hamilton as well as across the province. We will continue to work to improve our schools. This past year, we saw 5 of our 6 major construction projects approved. We, of course, are still waiting on the approval for collegiate. We are excited to begin construction of many schools as well as additions, and we also will continue to have a focus on our downtown community hub now that we can apply for grant money for our major school renewals. Last but certainly not least, we will continue to work towards improvements with our student learning and achievement. We've made significant gains with our grade 1 reading, and we will look to continue to close gaps, especially with regards to our grade 6 mathematics. And we'll also continue to work to preserve all 5 pathways in all of our schools, regardless of what happens at the provincial level. So with that, I would like to take a moment to just acknowledge that each of us has a precious vote, and I call that a precious vote because we as a board of trustees are responsible to 7,000 staff, but also 50,000 students across our school board. Each time we gather at this table, our precious vote changes lives. Our precious vote has the ability to change the trajectory of our students for the better. It has the opportunity to ensure that our students are connecting with the proper staff, our proper programming, and so that they can pursue their hopes and their passions and their dreams. That's what education is all about. So with that, thank you. And I look forward to the work ahead. With that, I will now turn to the election of vice chair. I'd like to call for nominations for the position of vice chair. Trustee Galindo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is my honor to nominate Trustee Don Danko for the position of Vice Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Glendo. Do you accept the nomination? Thank you, Trustee Danko. Are there any more nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Are there any more nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Are there any more nominations for the position of Vice Chair? Seeing no further nominations, can I please have a motion to close nominations? Trustee Buck, seconded by Trustee Deeth. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, Trustee Danko. And so to the motion where Trustee Danko has been nominated as Vice Chair, all those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, trustees. Welcome, Vice Chair Danko.
Thank you. I was just telling Trustee Mulholland that I wanted this seat so I could sit next to him. I don't know if he caught that at that time. I wanted to say thank you to my nominator and thank you to all trustees for your continued support. I'm really grateful and honored to have this privilege to continue serving as Vice Chair for a second year and to support the work of our chair and the director and really of all trustees. I also wanted to recognize Chair Johnstone for her incredible leadership over this past year. She's done a fantastic job and she's really helped us all come together as a group, so thank you for that. As we've all learned, there's always a lot of work to do around the board. Just when we think one thing's done, like the budget's approved, we find another challenge. And so I really look forward to helping everyone collaborate with staff as we work through the opportunities and challenges that our chair highlighted already. And I really look forward to supporting trustees and turning your passions and ideas into action, positive action for our students. I'm hoping that after the first learning curve or the first year as Vice Chair, I can hit the ground running and we can start looking at some concrete ideas to help support trustees in the future. So again, thank you for your support and I look forward to working with you this next year.
I would now like to invite HWDSB Chair Pat Daly to bring greetings on behalf of the Catholic School Board.
Thank you very much. And Madam Chair, trustees, members of the senior administration, student trustees, ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to be with you and to bring warm words of greetings and best wishes on behalf of the trustees on the Hamilton-Wentworth Catholic District School Board as you begin a new year of education governance in our community. And at the outset, as this is the first time I've had the opportunity on behalf of our board and indeed our entire system, I want to assure you that Devin, his family, the Sir Winston Churchill, and the entire Hamilton-Wentworth District School Board community remain in our thoughts and prayers. And I want to commend you for the very proactive way in which you have responded to this unspeakable tragedy, and to assure you that we stand in solidarity with you as you and we collectively confront the societal and provincial issues associated with safe schools. I want to, of course, congratulate you, Chair Johnstone and Vice Chair Danko, as you again assume the important responsibilities that have now been provided to you. I have some sense of the responsibilities and the role of leadership in a school board, and as well at times the burden associated with them. So I do really want to commend and congratulate you for accepting the responsibility of leadership. I've had the real pleasure of working with a number of chairs of this board over the years. Right at the top, of course, Trustee Mulholland, who I look to as a mentor and one of the trustees, whether in the public or Catholic system, that I have come to respect greatly. But amongst that list now, I would include your chair, Trustee Johnstone, who I've had the real pleasure of working with this past year. We've been in attendance at many meetings together, particularly with regard to transportation, but as well many calls when either of us wanted advice, and it's equally me searching for advice as it is your chair. So I do want to thank her for that, and I look forward to continuing that very strong relationship. In particular, I want to thank and commend her and your Director of Education and Associate Director with regard to our work on student transportation. You know, like I, that the issues related to that are very complex, and there are no easy solutions. And we have worked collaboratively to try very, very hard to come up with solutions that meet the needs of this community. And I know, as she indicated, that the Bell Time study will be the next opportunity for us to really come up with some effective strategies. Chair Johnstone, you said in your comments about the best board in the province, and I want to say that I take no exception to that, and I believe strongly that you are the best public school board in the province. I equally believe that the Hamilton Warwick Catholic District School Board is the best Catholic board in the province. And even more than my belief in both of those I'll call facts, I'm absolutely convinced that we are in that situation because both of us exist, and the students in our systems are better because of that. So I thank you again for the very wonderful relationship that we have enjoyed with this board, and I absolutely assure you of our commitment to continue to work in the spirit of cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Daly. That meant a lot to all of us. So thank you very much. And we look forward to joining you tomorrow night at your initial meeting to bring greetings on behalf of HWDSB. With that, we will continue to move through our agenda tonight. We have appointments to board mandated committees, starting with standing committee. All trustees are to be appointed to standing committee. The next, and so we will do a vote at the end of section 7. So the next is the suspension, appeals, and expulsions hearing. Again, all trustees will be appointed to that committee, as it is a provincially mandated committee. Part 7C, Parent Involvement Committee. Can I please have not... So I'm looking for 1 to 3 trustees to either nominate themselves or to nominate another individual to sit on the Parent Involvement Committee. Trustee Buck, Trustee Deeth, and it's 1 to 3. So is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, we will continue to move through. So we have Trustee Buck and Trustee Deeth who are expressing interest in the Parent Involvement Committee. For Supervised Alternative Learning, we have 3 to 5 trustees. So with that, we'll start with this end, looking for nominations. Trustee Bingham. Looking for 3 to 5 trustees to sit on supervised alternative learning. Trustee Buck. So we have 2. We are looking for 3 to 5 trustees to sit on supervised alternative learning. And Trustee Deeth. So I would still like to continue to ask, because supervised alternative learning is, I'm wondering, is a highly rewarding opportunity to sit on. It is a daytime committee. And with that, it's the structure is similar to expulsion hearings in terms of how trustees work through the actual process. But it is highly rewarding work. These are some of our most vulnerable students. So with that, we have 3 trustees. We can have a total of 5. Is there anyone else that is interested in sitting on supervised alternative learning? Trustee Archer, thank you. Is there any further interest in supervised alternative learning? Seeing no further, thank you, trustees. That is 4 of 5, and that is greatly appreciated. Moving along to SEAC, we can have 2 individuals. In those interested, I'll put my own self down. I have personally sat on this committee for 10 years. And it is a highly rewarding committee. I feel like I'm at an auction, or I am taking interest in SEAC. So all other trustees that are interested in SEAC, even as an alternative, is a highly rewarding. Is the last Wednesday night of the week. One meeting a month, and when you have another person sharing it, Trustee Buck. Thank you. Is there anyone else that's interested? Trustee Deeth, wonderful. Oh, it's a vote? Oh, so I see Trustee Deeth withdrawing. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Buck. Student trustee mentor. Just to be clear, this is not table mentor. A student trustee mentor will attend our student senate meetings. So you do not need to attend all student senate meetings, but you are the liaison between student senate and our in this table here. So those interested in student trustee mentor. Trustee Galindo. And is there anyone else that is interested in student trustee mentor? Seeing none, for everyone else who is interested, you can still attend, but Trustee Galindo would be the main point of contact. And if you have not had the opportunity to attend a student senate in the past, please do. This is, you will learn more at that table than most other tables that you may peruse. So our students are brilliant. They have very serious discussions, and they bring a lot of, they bring enormous insight into the issues of the day. Thank you, Trustee Galindo. So with that, I'm going to review this for PIC, Parent Involvement Committee. We have Trustees Buck and Deeth. For Supervised Alternative Learning, we have Trustees Bingham, Buck, Deeth, and Archer. For Special Education Advisory Committee, we have Trustees Johnstone and Buck. For Student Trustee Mentor, we have Trustee Galindo. All in favor? Oh, sorry, I need a mover. Trustee Danko, seconded by Trustee Tutt. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, trustees. Appointments to trustee special committees. We'll begin. Audit committee has previously been filled by trustees Danko, Trustee Bingham, and Tutt. So thank you for your continued service. Finance and facilities. This committee can have between up to 3 to 5 trustees. Trustee Danko, Trustee Galindo, Trustee Tutt, Trustee Buck. I'm going to put myself down. Trustee Johnstone. Is there anyone else that is interested? Trustee Miller? So we will go to a vote for finance and facilities. So I'll ask you to use your ballots. I'm going to review again. Those who have expressed interest are Trustee Danko, Galindo, Tutt, Buck, Johnstone, and Miller. I'm going to repeat that again. Trustee Danko, Galindo, Tutt, Buck, Johnstone, and Miller. So please select the 5 trustees that you would like, and I will review the names again in a few minutes. That is Trustee Maria Felix Miller. So I'll say this again. Trustee Danko, Trustee Galindo, Trustee Tutt, Trustee Buck, Trustee Johnstone, and Trustee Maria Felix Miller. So trustees, I'd like to announce the results of Finance and Facilities. Trustee Danko, Trustee Tutt, Trustee Buck, Trustee Johnstone, Trustee Galindo. Thank you, Trustee Miller. And with that, please note to all trustees, you are all welcome to attend the many Finance and Facility Committee meetings, especially as we enter into the spring season and we begin work on the budget. We certainly, you'll receive emails from Trustee Danko, from Committee Chair Danko, or not yet. Last year, you would have received emails from Committee Chair Danko who talked about the importance of those committees. Governance Committee, again, we can have 3 to 5 trustees. So with that, it's still 3 to 5, but 2 of the 3 to 5 are to be chair and the vice chair. And with that, I would like to open up nominations. You can absolutely nominate yourself. So I'm going to start going from this way. Trustee Miller. Sorry, Paikin Miller. Trustee Paikin Miller. Trustee Tutt. Trustee Deeth. And Trustee Johnstone and Danko are automatically on there. So again, we have, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5 trustees. Is there any further interest? Seeing none, thank you. Trustees Paikin Miller, Tutt, Deeth, and Danko, and myself, of course, for joining the committee. Human Resources, again, we can have 3 to 5 trustees, and I'll start with, at the end of the table with Trustee Archer. I have Trustee Paikin Miller. Yes, yep. I'll put myself down, Trustee Johnstone, and Trustee Deeth. Is there anyone else that's interested in human resources as we are in the midst of collective bargaining? And of course, all trustees are welcome to attend these meetings. Thank you, trustees. Policy Committee. Again, we can have 3 to 5 trustees. I'll start at Trustee Archer's end. I have Trustee Galindo. This is for Policy Committee. Trustee Buck. So we need 3 to 5 trustees for policy. So far, we have Trustee Galindo and Trustee Buck. We need 1 more trustee. Trustee Miller, thank you. And that is Maria Felix Miller. And Trustee Danko. Is there any further interest in Policy Committee? Seeing none, thank you, trustees. As Trustee Galindo, Buck, Miller, and Danko. Program Committee, we can have 3 to 5 trustees. And again, I'll start at Trustee Archer's and Trustee Archer. Trustee Buck and Trustee Deeth. Is there any further interest in program? And Trustee Danko. Yep. Wonderful. Any further interest? Seeing none, thank you, trustees. So with that, I'm going to review the committees. For Audit Committee, we have Trustee Bingham, Trustee Danko, and Trustee Tutt for continuing on in their 4-year term. For Finance and Facilities, we have Trustees Danko, Galindo, Tutt, and Buck and Johnstone. Got to write. For Governance Committee, we have Trustees Paikin Miller, Johnstone, and Miller. For Human Resources Committee, we have Trustees Johnstone, Danko, Paikin Miller, Tutt, and Deeth. For HR Committee, we have Trustees Paikin Miller, Johnstone, and Deeth. For Policy Committee, we have Trustee Galindo, Buck, Miller, and Danko. With that, And for Program Committee, we have trustees Archer, Buck, Deeth, and Danko. So can I please have a motion to approve the committee? Yes, trustee Deeth, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I think you missed Kathy or off HR.
Thank you. So to clarify, trustee Archer did not have her hand up. So with that, can I please have, I'm looking for a motion to approve appointments. Trustee Tutt, seconded by trustee Miller. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. We'll now move on to election of committee chairs for trustee special committees. You can either nominate yourself or someone else can nominate you. Is there a nomination for Finance and Facilities Chair? Trustee Danko, you are putting your name forward?
Yes, I'd like to self-nominate, and I'm looking to ideally mentor someone who might like to take this over next year.
Thank you. Is there any other interest in Chair of Finance and Facilities? Is there any other interest in Chair of Finance and Facilities? Is there any other interest in Chair of Finance and Facilities? Seeing none, thank you, Trustee Danko. And with that, can I have a motion to approve, or sorry, we'll do that at the end. So Trustee Danko returns as Chair of Finance and Facilities. And she will be looking to mentor. We'll now move on to election of Chair of Governance. And I will open up the floor to nominations. And so, So with that, I would like to nominate Trustee Tutt. I've served in this capacity for the past year as well as years prior, and I would like to, I've seen Trustee Tutt offer great wisdom around our board, and with that, I do feel that he would be well suited for the role. Trustee Tutt, do you accept the nomination?
I do, but I think Trustee Mulholland.
Then I will withdraw my nomination and I will turn to Trustee Mulholland, who would like to nominate Trustee Tutt. Thank you, Trustee Mulholland. Is there any further interest in Chair of Governance Committee? Is there any other interest in Chair of Governance Committee? Is there any other interest in Chair of Governance Committee? Seeing none, congratulations, Trustee Tutt, becoming Chair of Governance Committee. Human Resources. Is there any interest in Chair of Human Resources Committee? Nope. I'm seeing Trustee Paikin-Miller, if you want to speak into your microphone, please.
I'd like to nominate Penny Deeth.
Trustee Deeth, do you accept the nomination? Is there any other interest in Chair of Human Resources Committee? Is there any other interest in Chair of Human Resources Committee? Seeing none, congratulations, Trustee Deeth, and we look forward to having you return to this role. We will move along with Policy, Chair Policy Committee. Do we have a nomination for or interest for Policy Committee? Trustee Bingham.
I would like to nominate Trustee Galindo.
Trustee Galindo, do you accept your nomination?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do accept the nomination. Thank you, Trustee Bingham.
Is there any other interest in Chair of Policy Committee? Is there any other interest in Chair of Policy Committee? Seeing none, I will congratulate Trustee Galindo on your appointment to chair. We look forward to your, to your guidance in this role. Moving along now to chair of program. Is there interest in chair of program? Trustee Deeth?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Buck. I feel confident that I can pass the torch to her.
Thank you. Trustee Buck, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do.
Trustee Tutt?
I was going to nominate Trustee Buck as well.
Fantastic. Noted. Thank you. Is there any other interest in chair of program committee? Is there any other interest in chair program committee? Is there any other interest in chair program committee? Seeing none. Congratulations, Trustee Buck, and we look forward to your continued work on this role and on this committee, and we look forward to having you as chair. Yeah. So with that, I am going to read out, so we have Trustee Danko returning as Chair of Finance and Facilities, Trustee Tutt coming in as Chair of Governance, Trustee Deeth returning as Chair of Finance and Facilities, as Chair of Human Resources, Trustee Galindo coming in as Chair of Policy, and Trustee Buck coming in as Chair of Program. Can I please have a motion to approve the appointments? Trustee Paikin-Miller, seconded by Trustee Danko. All in favor? Thank you, trustees. And just before moving on to the other committees, I'd like to note that it is certainly we are pleased to see so many new trustees and moving into the position of chair of various committees. This is certainly works to help strengthen the board as a whole when we have new individuals moving into committee chair positions. So we look forward to all of your work. Please note that for all new chairs, you will certainly receive lots of support from all trustees who have previously served in the position of chair. So we look forward to supporting you in your roles, especially Vice Chair Danko and myself. With that, moving along to appointments to HWDSB community advisory committees. We can have 2 trustees per a committee. With that, we'll begin with item 10A, Faith Committee. Do we have any interest in Faith Committee? Trustee Buck? Is there any other trustees who are interested in Trustee Deeth? Is there any other trustees interested in Faith Committee? Is there any other trustees interested in Faith Committee? Is there any other trustees interested in Faith Committee? Seeing none, thank you. We'll have Buck and Deeth joining Faith Committee. First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. Do we have any interest? That was a quick draw of the hand. Trustee Bingham is interested. Is there any further interest in First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Committee? Trustee Bingham?
With the First Nation, Métis, Inuit, our committee, up to this point of being on it, the committee meetings are daytime meetings as well.
Thank you for that information. So with that, noting that this is a daytime committee, is there anyone else who is interested in First Nations, Métis, and Inuit? So it is up to one to 2 trustees. But if anyone else is. Do we know what day of the week the trustee generally or the committee generally meets, Trustee Bingham?
Through the chair, I'd like to send that over to Superintendent Stefanian if we can, please.
Superintendent Stefanian?
So through the chair, the day of the week varies depending upon the availability of the community members and the parents. Typically, it's usually a Tuesday or a Thursday, though.
Trustee Danko is going to sit on all the committees. Thank you. And yes, as noted, it is always most helpful when we have roles shared, as our schedules are busy, and it's always good to have multiple trustees sharing the work. So is there any other interest? Seeing none, thank you, trustees Bingham and Danko. That means a lot. French as a second language. Do we have trustees that are interested in French as a second language? This committee meets the same night as SEAC, the last Wednesday of the month. And it is every other month, which is helpful. So is 1 to 2 trustees to sit on French as a second language? Well, trustees, I will continue to ask. Do we have any interest in French as a second language? So I'm going to start to sell it a little bit for you. It's every other month. So right away, you're not having to meet every single month. It is the last Wednesday of a month, which is great because most of our committee meetings are bundled into the first 2 weeks of the month, which means you will likely have Wednesday evenings off. And with that, it is a very rewarding committee filled with passionate community members and an excellent superintendent who is attached to this committee. I'm trying to sell it here. Yes, Trustee Galindo, you're interested?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I did want to provide some clarification. I am the trustee that currently sits on the committee, and it's been quite the privilege and learning experience at the same time, because the purpose of the French as a Second Language Advisory Committee is really to give us an inside look at what the experience is like for students who are in the core French program, but also in the French immersion program. That being said, I am not putting my name forward this time around because of scheduling commitments that I have planned for the upcoming year, and I do not want to sit on a committee that I can't commit to going for meetings. So I highly encourage that my colleagues seriously consider sitting on that committee. I know that Trustee Danko sat on that committee prior to me, and she had a good experience as well, from what I can tell. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So I would be willing to put my name forward. My problem is clearly a scheduling conflict. However, if I was able to share that role with another trustee, I would certainly be able to do that, but I would not be able to do it alone. So I am looking for Trustee Tutt. Are you putting your name forward?
Madam Chair, I'd be open to sharing that role with you.
Fantastic. So trustees Johnstone and Tutt. With that, thank you very much. Moving along to Human Rights and Equity Committee. Quick draw of the hand, trustees Miller and Pagan-Miller. Wonderful. Is there any further interest in Human Rights and Equity Committee? Is there any other interest in Human Rights and Equity Committee? Is there any other interest in Human Rights and Equity Committee? Seeing none. Thank you, trustees. Rural schools. I'll start with putting myself down, as well as Trustee Tutt. Is there any other interest? There is 2, however, it is up to 2. Trustee Deeth, would you like me to put your name down? No. Okay, so we have trustees Johnstone and Tutt for rural schools. So I'm going to read back off the list. Go by Heather's list. Her handwriting is a lot neater. We have, for Faith Advisory Committee, we have trustees Buck and Deeth. For FMNI, we have trustees Bingham and Danko. For French as a second language, we have trustees Tutton Johnstone. For human rights and equity, we have trustees Miller and Paikin Miller. For rural schools, we have trustees Johnstone and Tutt. And if I can have a motion to approve the appointments, thank you, trustee Danko, seconded by trustee Miller. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, trustees. We now have appointments as liaison representatives to associated agencies. We'll begin with the City School Board Liaison Committee. And that includes the chair and 2 trustees. So we have trustee Galindo, trustee Deeth, is there any other interest in City School Board Liaison Committee? Is there any other interest? Trustee Miller, and that is Maria Felix Miller. So is there any other interest in City School Board Liaison Committee? I can't. What's he saying?
It's just a parliamentary inquiry through the chair. Because we are going into a small election, are speeches permitted?
Yes, they will be.
Thank you.
So with that, we'll permit speeches. I will exclude myself from the speeches because I am automatically on the committee. So with that, we'll start with trustee Miller in reverse order. Okay. So trustee Miller.
Sorry, I can withdraw. That's okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, keep things easy.
Okay, so with that, please note that all trustees are always welcome to attend. So please note that. We have trustees Deeth and Galindo. Thank you, trustees. We have the Hamilton Wentworth Home and School Association. Do we have interest in home and school? Trustee Danko? Oh, and trustee Galindo? Thank you. You have to raise your hands, folks. So trustees Galindo and trustee Danko will be sharing this role. It is normally a one-person role. Okay, moving along, we have Foundation for Student Success. Trustee Paikin Miller, thank you. Is there any other interest in Foundation? It is one trustee, but you can certainly show up. Okay. Thank you, trustee Miller, Paikin Miller. With that, Ontario Public School Board Association. Is there any? We have a director and an alternative. We'll start with director. Trustee Galindo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate trustee Johnstone for that position.
Thank you to my nominator. I gladly accept. I'll just ask, is there further nominations for the position of, we'll start with director. Is there further nominations for the position of director? So I'll certainly accept. I appreciate the opportunity as we are completing provincial negotiations, and I appreciate the ability to continue in that role for a year. And also I'm continuing on as chair of our provincial student trustee liaison committee with our student trustee association. So with that, I do appreciate the opportunity to continue to fill that role. Do we have an alternate? Trustee Galindo is interested in alternate? Yep. Yeah, I know. So I'm just looking for people to raise their hands to indicate interest in OPSPA alternate. Trustee Buck? Is there anyone else interested in the position of alternate? Is there anyone interested in the position of alternate? Is there anyone interested in the position of alternate? Okay, so this will go to a vote, so I'm going to go in reverse order. So with that, Trustee Buck, if you'd just like to talk to us about why you would be humbled to serve in the position of OPSPA alternate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Over the course of the past 12 months, I've had the opportunity to attend all of the symposiums that OPSPA has offered for us, and they just happen to be in Toronto this year. I've also attended several regional meetings, and I find the opportunity to learn more about what's happening provincially is just so great in these settings, and the possibility for networking is also there. And I would be honored to represent alongside the chair or the director at OPSPA meetings, and I won't talk more because I'm going to get myself flustered, but yes, thank you for the opportunity to put it to a vote.
Thank you, Trustee Buck. Trustee Galindo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To my colleagues here today, I didn't prepare a speech, so we're going to go off the top of my head as well. Thank you, Trustee Buck. I've had the privilege of serving as the alternate on OPSA for the last year, and it's been a privilege. I have to be honest, though, it tended to be just a title because like most of us, any of us are permitted to attend the meetings. So I have attended all the regional meetings. I had the pleasure of attending the symposium and a few other events. I think the highlight, though, of being alternate for me was having the opportunity to represent our school board at the Day of Action, which was last Monday, actually. Some of you may have noticed my seat was empty last Monday, and that was because I was at Queen's Park meeting with several members of provincial parliament, having discussions around really what we're advocating for as trustees across the province, but really the privilege for me was to advocate for the issues that were central to our school board with those members of provincial parliament. And I even had an opportunity just after Trustee Tutt messaged me to have a conversation with the Minister of Education around what we're doing with our bullying review panel and the outcomes that we're hoping to have out of that. So I'm happy to put my name forward for that again. But nonetheless, I thank everyone for your support ahead of time. But thank you.
Thank you. So trustees, please choose a ballot. And with that, you can choose Trustee Galindo or Trustee Buck for the position of OPSPA Director Alternate. Thank you. So just before I announce the results, I want to say thank you to you both. And it's wonderful to see so much interest. I likely will not put my name forward next year, so I'm very encouraged to see this amount of interest in OPSPA. And yes, it breaks my heart, but I truly do believe in ensuring that there are opportunities to fill these roles are given to everyone. So I'm trying to practice what I preach. With that, I will announce, so stepping into OPSPA alternate is returning trustee Galindo. And with that, look forward to continuing our minivan karaoke to all of our regional meetings. Director Figueredo, you have competition. So with that, I'm just going to repeat our appointments to the liaison representatives to associated agencies. For City School Board, we have trustees Johnstone, Galindo, and Deeth. For Home and School Association, we have trustees Danko and Galindo. For Foundation, we have trustee Paik and Miller. For OPSPA, we have director is trustee Johnstone and alternate is trustee Galindo. With that, I'm looking for a motion to approve. Trustee Archer, seconded by trustee Deeth. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, trustees. And with that, we'll turn now to director's remarks.
Thank you, through the chair. I'll begin by saying it's a privilege to continue to serve, and I'm looking forward to working with the chair and vice chair again in the 1920 year. This time is usually when the director provides some visionary comments. So I've been reflecting upon what the 1920 school year will look like and beyond. And trustees have been very clear to me is how do we continue to build a culture and a climate of high expectations, but during a time of some great uncertainty. And what I put there is, when I say uncertainty, we know that public education is key, and I've said it over and over, around not only economic prosperity, but more important, even cultural prosperity. And as someone said, that our public currency is trust. That's our greatest public currency. And when certain things break, potentially compromise that trust, such as some tragic events, provincial bargaining and new budget realities as we went through, what can we focus on that are in our control? So when I think about what I've heard the chair say earlier about closing some of those achievement gaps, my thoughts went clearly to sort of three areas. One, the work of equity is going to be essential as we continue to move forward, as we have our equity action plan. Why? If we are going to close our achievement gaps, we have to figure out and listen to the voices of those who we're not meeting their needs or meeting their expectations. So the equity action plan will be essential as we think of the vision moving forward. I've also been thinking about to create a culture of high expectations, and trustees have been clear to me about this as well. How do we continue to create a culture we are listening and open to feedback, that the feedback loop surfaces from the bottom up and top down, and that feedback loop has to be continuous, especially in times of great uncertainty. And last but not least, in times of great uncertainty, we have to watch carefully the well-being of all. We think about the well-being of our students. That is key during this time of uncertainty for our kids. And as well as I've been looking around the organization, the well-being of our students is so directly impacted the well-being of our leaders, our educational leaders, our school leaders, our department leaders. And that's going to be a focus as we look at what the uncertainties that come forward. So we'll continue to be focused on those three areas: equity, leadership, and a culture of high expectation by ensuring that we're listening. There's a continuous feedback loop. So I'm looking forward to working with the Board of Trustees, and thank you again for continuously modeling those expectations for the senior team. And I also thank the senior team around the table for their relentless focus over this current school year, because it has been a fall like no other, but it's how we respond collectively, and we are thankful for the Board of Trustees, how you've supported us as we collectively respond to meet those three areas for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. With that, we'll move on to item 13, Chair's remarks. I highlighted earlier what I guess the basis of my comments, but I I'm going to reiterate a few comments I had made at our board meeting last week in summary of the year that we had had. I believe that as we move forward, and I listed the areas of focus that we as a board would have, and the areas that we know that we need to do work on. That being said, I have full faith that we'll execute the work that we have with a set of values, 3 values. One is transparency. And as I mentioned last week, our board does an excellent job of asking for more data than probably any other board across the province. And we appreciate the work with our staff around the horseshoe here, because that's not possible without all of the hard work that each of you do to gather those statistics, to count how many courses we have or do not have in comparison to past years, where we collect data now as a result of last board meeting or 2 board meetings ago with regards to student transportation and student-related incidents. We push ourselves to do better, and we do that in the spirit of transparency. Accountability. I see ourselves as holding ourselves to account. We do that in collaboration with our community. And we do that through digging deep and by truly valuing collaborative problem-solving skills. When our communities come to us with concerns, we are right out there, front and center, meeting with our communities face to face, because we share the concerns of our communities. We share the deep desire to always do better. Even when we are doing things right, we always share a desire to do better. So that is the accountability, and of course the digging deep, the collaborative problem solving. So with that, I think that with transparency, accountability, and the collaborative problem solving, it's those values that guide us. And when we have stormy waters, it is those values that help us keep a firm hand on the ship. I think former trustee Jeff Beattie would be proud of me for that pun. With that, I will look to move this meeting to a close. Looking for adjournment, Trustee Tutt, seconded by Trustee Paikin-Miller. All in favor? That is unanimous, and Trustee Galindo reminds us that he would like that we have a group photo to be had. So if we could all perhaps gather in the corner over here. Thank you.